Hello folks, it's very early. Well, I got up at about 20 to 7. Very early. I sleep was a bit knackered, so I just thought, okay. I've got no idea why I can't sleep now. So I just get up, had breakfast, and well, when I went to bed, what came to my mind is, if you do not have the Holy Spirit, you will not have the spiritual gifts. That's what God was saying to me when I went to bed. So I thought, okay, we'd better do a quick video on that then at some point. So yeah, that's the reality. Well, because the spiritual gifts came about at Pentecost when the Holy Spirit was released upon the people. So it does stand to reason that the spiritual gifts are gone, pretty much gone from the church. And the ones that are completely bereft of the Holy Spirit are completely and utterly bereft of the spiritual gifts. So it does stand to reason. It stands to reason that certainly if you want the spiritual gifts to be evident, if you want to be going to God rather than to doctors, if you want to be, helping people to be delivered from the crap in their lives, then you need to be guided by the Holy Spirit to be able to receive what comes with that. And so, well, that's what I say. When I was speaking to the pastor, his 4-point plan, not really including anything about relationship with God, and relationship with people was there, but not relationship with God. Again, that's pastor. People focused rather than God focused. And there was nothing about the fact that we need to be led by the Holy Spirit to bring the spiritual gifts back. There was nothing about that in any way, shape or form. There was, but as I say, that's because of the training. I think that seems to make sense. Because talking about Bible college, okay. Talking about people, relationship with people, and that's pastor. So, there's two things that are very much in line with nature and training. And so, I mean, look, I'm not. It would be ridiculous for anyone to be coming into sort of run a church that wasn't interested in, teaching of the word, and wasn't interested in relationship with people. But, the church has not bothered about relationship with God. The church has not been bothered about being led by the Holy Spirit. They have to be the things that you are pushing. Because as I say, with each individual person, they're going to be judged based upon their relationship with God. They won't be judged upon the church's relationship with God, but with their individual relationship with God. If, as a pastor, you're concerned about protect the people from the consequences of that. That has to be the main aim. But the problem is we've got pastors who are more bothered about protecting, and again, I'm not talking about this pastor, but in general, we've got pastors who are more concerned about protecting the people from any offence than they are about protecting the people from ending up in hell. That's the reality. And as I say, that to me is highly offensive. That is completely and utterly outrageous to have that as a situation, but also to have where churches keep on picking pastors like that. People are intentionally, basically, causing themselves to be highly disabled spiritually. Well, as I said, the reality comes, you can't be part of God and part of the world. Well, you can try. But as I've said time and time again, God will not pull you into his system. He won't do that. He won't pull you more into him. but the devil will pull you more into him. With God, it's your free will. You choose him. With the devil, he has any chance of grabbing you, he's going to do so. So, it's all very well speaking about spiritual warfare. The first place spiritual warfare has to come is in you. That's the point. It's that initial thing. Are you of the world or are you of God? If you're of the church, you're of the world. If you're of anything other than God, you're of the world, which means you're of the devil. Anything other than of God, you're of the devil. That's the only option. That has to be the first thing that's dealt with in every single person. Having a realistic view of what are you of, and then deal with it from there. Understand where you are, and that's your starting point. It doesn't matter what's gone before. Where you are is your starting point. Who cares what's happened before? It's where you are. You can't start from any other position than where you are. It's like all these, if you've had a powerful ministry before, it doesn't matter. Same as if you haven't, it doesn't matter. It's where you are that matters. Because that's your starting point. We can't go back and start at another point in your life because too late. That point is gone. We're here. We can only start from here. So, okay, let's focus on here. And let's focus on getting you from here to where you need to be. That has to be the point. Focusing on fellowship. Fellowship is way beyond that. Way beyond that. But again, these points is what basically the pastors over the past 20 years have been focused on, which is why, it's not encouraging. However, is it possible that God can get him to hear? Not me, but to hear God, yes. And to change his 4-point plan into God's plan, yeah. But I do think that, I was thinking earlier that, well, if it's not going to work, I hope with this church it doesn't work very, very quickly, because they've already had a time when they were coming to the point of death as a church. If that's going to happen again, let it come quickly so they can get it sorted. The last thing they need is 5 years down the road they're in the same position as they were before this pastor turned up. That's not good. It's not good for anyone. So if they're going to get to that point, I pray that it will happen quickly for them. We need people that are built differently. But as I said yesterday, the problem is that churches tend to hire people that are built pretty much identical to the last pastor. That's what they do. As I say, you bring people in that are what you know, because it's comfortable, because it's well, it's like if you go and buy new clothes, generally speaking, you'll buy very, very similar to what you got before because you like that. Same as a church with regards to their minister. They don't tend to go for someone the opposite to what they had before. Because that's why biblically it's not a democracy. God says he wants that person comes in. That person is the right person to bring that church to where it needs to be. Do we expect people to understand that and to be able to vote according to that? If you expect people to understand that, then you're being a bit foolish. Or very foolish, should I say. You only have to look at history to understand that ain't going to happen. Or it's incredibly unlikely to happen. Well, as I've said before, with regards to the Baptist churches, where they are more of a democracy when it comes to making changes. I mean, the Pentecostal are pretty much the same. Well, I think they have a vote. I wasn't in one long enough to really find out, but yeah. But the problem, as I say, the problem with Baptist churches is quite often they have votes that go, 60-40. If it's 60-40, there's either 40% or 60% that are not hearing from God. That shows something quite worrying. It should do, at least. Does it to the people in those churches? No, because they just sort of gloss over that and move on. They shouldn't, because it's showing every time there's a vote, when there's a huge difference. If the vote is 90%, then that's pretty good. If you've got 90% of being led by God, cool. If they're wrong, then you've got 90% that aren't being led by God. That isn't good. That's pretty bad for a church. But when it's 60-40, 40-60, 50-50, 65-45, that sort of thing, then that's quite worrying, because there's a large percentage of your church that is not being guided by God. Because if you assume that one side, yes or no, is being guided by God, the other side isn't. Yeah. And you're giving these people the vote? Are you kidding me? The way the votes go shows you shouldn't be giving these people the vote. But because in society they get a vote, they think they should in church. So, yeah, but that's not God. The world and God are very, very different. And if you want... that's the point, isn't it? People want church to be like the world. And that's why church is like the world. Right now. That's why church has been designed by the world. And, the people have been trained pretty much by the world. And, the world has decided that every church should look pretty much identical. And then the attitude of that ado, is that from God? No, it's from the world. Yeah. Yeah. You came out of the world, but you wanted a church that was quite similar and comfortable. And, you made it, didn't you? Yeah. Indeed, but that's the point. God has to unmake it then, doesn't he? And I hope that the right people are in position, but as I said yesterday when I was comparing the football, it shouldn't take too long to know you've got the right people in charge. You should be starting to see the changes very quickly if you've got the right people in charge. We'll put it this way. If the ministry isn't that challenging, I mean, certainly initially, I think challenging has to be gentle. But as you go, the challenging has to be ramped up. As the people get more used to being challenged, the challenging has to be ramped up. It has to be stronger. If that isn't happening, then this person isn't of God. But again, with different churches will really make a difference as to how quickly it can go from gentle challenging to more heavier challenging. Yeah. That is very, very true. That is very, very true. And that's why, when we look at the situation, we can't really tell. The only person who really knows whether there's the right people is God. That is true. Yeah. But, the difference between the right people and the wrong people is the church is going to get there, and the wrong people, it won't get there. Give them as much time as they need, it won't get there. Yeah? So, I mean, Manuel, I think, was the wrong person for that Pentecostal church. Because he was there for 10 years, and in the end, they weren't laying hands on people they didn't have any representation at all of the Holy Spirit in that church. And as a teacher, that's really bad. So, yeah, that suggests bad fit. Yeah, that he wasn't the right person for that church, and that church wasn't the right fit for him. Because, as I say, he's a solid enough teacher, so therefore, that production wasn't what you'd expect. Unless it's just that they're not the right fit. And so it can be as simple as that. But it shouldn't take 10 years to figure that out, because that's 10 years of his life and 10 years of the life of the people in there. Yeah, it shouldn't take 10 years to figure that out. But there you go. That's where they start from, isn't it, really? Because, yeah, that's where they are. So there you go. But certainly if you want the spiritual gifts, then you have to welcome the Holy Spirit. And not just welcome, you have to grab hold of the Holy Spirit. Seriously. And hug it. Keep it close. Yeah, understand the importance of it. Yeah, understand that, the Lord said to help her, it should be the essential. The Holy Spirit should have been referenced as, I leave you the essential, because, to think for a second the Holy Spirit isn't anything other than essential is stupid. Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to leave you to it. You have a fantastic day. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Enjoy. Bye-bye.